We're here on the beach of Gold Beach. So Sue, was there not that much sand here at the time?
Yes, well, it was further out. You see,
okay.
This is high tide.
Okay.
So when they assaulted, the tide was out,
Okay.
and just on the turn coming in. So the Navy didn't want to assault when it was high tide,
Yeah.
when actually the troops could get off more quickly. Basically, there were mines on poles,
yes.
and there were these ramps to stop to try and capsize the landing
Yeah.
craft.
So those aircraft that just flew over, they had those black and white stripes on them. They're called Allied stripes. And they painted them that way so they were not shot down by their own forces. Now, that didn't always happen, but that's what it was for. Each of these pillars here, it's very cool, has the names of all the men that were lost on fighting for these beaches and in World War II. And the ones closer to D-Day are closer to the inside here. I'm here today at Gold Beach from Normandy, and this is the British Normandy Memorial. Gold Beach was a British point where they were taking one of the beaches here at Normandy. So the beaches are kind of spread up. You got 5 major beaches. Of course, it's going to start with Sword, then Juneau, then Gold, Omaha, Utah. So we're here at Gold. Gold, Juneau, and Sword are all British and Canadian beaches that are, those are the Allied that are taking those beaches. And then you got the Americans on Omaha and Utah. But what's really amazing about this memorial today, it's the day before D-Day. They have these amazing depictions, and I'll show you, of these soldiers basically walking, depicting the British soldiers that were here on D-Day. You can see some of them have berets and some of them have helmets. They have weapons, but they each represent a different soldier that was here at Gold Beach that day. It's just very interesting to see, but they're all out here, these silhouettes. He's definitely a pilot. Look, he's carrying his gear. He's got his life preserver on. There's a skull cap on with his goggles. Want to be reminded of how many British there were that day, even though you have over 20,000 Americans that day storming the beaches on D-Day. You have over 20,000 British and Canadian that are also storming the beaches on D-Day. In total, between the US, UK, Canada, and France, 43,250 infantry, 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, 13 destroyers, and over 1,000 other vessels. At the end of the day, 25,000 troops had landed on Gold Beach, securing the beachhead and pushing inland. And they were up against the 8th German Infantry. It's the British Second Army. Now remember, this is a 50-mile stretch of beach, and you're breaking it into those 5 beaches, starting with Sword, Juneau, Gold, Omaha, and Utah. And this is the main British one, 25,000. And it was secured by the end of the day. I just want to show you these 2 women that are depicted, these nurses. One of them is Molly Evershed, and she's the one with the glasses here. This is Molly Evershed, and she bravely saved the lives of 75 wounded troops and it ended up giving her life. She kept going back and forth. She was on the hospital ship Amsterdam, and she was posthumously mentioned in dispatches and awarded the King's Commendation for brave conduct. Memorial to the women and what the women were doing that day. Here are 2 British women that were helping in the efforts as nurses. So it's just amazing to be here as they get ready for tomorrow's 80th anniversary here at the British Normandy Memorial. And as I stand out here, again, standing with the giants, this 80th anniversary with these giant silhouettes of the soldiers, it's just beautiful. There we go, those ones are dropping. How cool. So if you can imagine, these men were jumping after midnight on June 6th. The aircraft had turned off all the lights and they were jumping behind enemy lines. They were trying to cut off the logistics for the Germans so they could have reinforcements brought to Utah Beach and Omaha Beach. Fires got started by some of the aircraft being shot down, and so then when the guys jumped, those fires illuminated them in the air, made them a little bit more easier targets. Also, they got spread out, and you'll see that in Band of Brothers, where Dick Winters gets 5 miles away from where he should have been. They get spread out from where the original drop zone was. So it wasn't a perfect art even at the time. It's just a very dangerous thing to do. But this is commemorating that, and it's very neat to see and to be here. The people here are still very much appreciative of what happened 80 years ago. It's still very much a part of their lives, and it's just really neat to see and to be a part of it. So, on to my next walk of history.